Welcome to the Bates Kitchen, and I am getting ready to start one of my favorite side dishes to share with you guys. I thought I would share some of my sides. I've done a lot of main dishes, but I thought let's get into some of the sides that really make a dish stand out and complement it without taking away. This is one of our favorites. It's a honey thyme carrot, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. A really important part of every good meal is the sides that you serve with it. Around here we love the classics like mashed potatoes, green beans, corn, even throw in some broccoli, asparagus, things like that. But one of my favorites that often gets overlooked is carrots. I have a honey thyme carrot, and these are honestly so good that I can't believe I haven't shared them before. I just share a lot of main dishes, and I had people asking about sides that we love for Thanksgiving and stuff, and I've shared some of the more classic ones like my sweet potato casserole. It's a kind of a dupe of Ruth's Chris sweet potato casserole, which by the way is absolutely amazing and something you must try. For me, I look for sides that I can either make ahead or that I can throw in the oven, leave for a long time and not worry about until everything else is done, or sides, you know, that can be easily made really quick. But as far as leaving them alone, you really cannot beat these carrots. They kind of toss together with the seasoning you'll see here in a minute, and then they just bake in the oven. Now, there's several different ways to serve them. One really great way is quarters because it keeps that long carrot shape. And another way that I typically do it, now, whichever way you choose, you've got to stick to it for the whole recipe because they all need to be uniform. The way I typically do it at the house is I will bias cut these ends, which doesn't really hugely matter. And then I will take a little skinny cut right here to stand them up. And I'm just going to kind of waste this one showing you, because I'm not going to do it this way today. But this is the way I normally will do it. I will take a little shave right here just so it gives my knife somewhere to stand flat. And then I've got them right here. I've got that nice little bias cut, and I will just cut them at about 1/4 inch. And this is the way I normally do them at the house because I can make any size carrots. Are all pretty uniform. And I serve them like that, and they are amazing. Another really simple way that's fast and easy, and when I'm making my carrots for hibachi, which is a little different recipe, these are the ones I'll use. It's just the pre-cut rounds. They're so easy, or if you've got a mandolin, so easy to do, and this is really fast as well. Oh, one more way that I would consider really using, if I had thought of it ahead of time, is you can actually get like the cool little carrots that are all similarly sized and have the little sprouts coming out the end with the leaves. This would be killer to do with those if I had thought of that, and if I had a grocery store around me that had those easily accessible. I did not see them at my Walmart, so that's the only one that's actually close. If I'm out and about, I can go to like Food City or something, but unfortunately I wasn't there today. A special thank you to Blueland for sponsoring today's episode. I know you guys have all heard that we consume about a credit card's worth of microplastics every week, and that statistic gets me to stop about every time I hear it. I try to be conscious about things like the toxins and microplastics in my home. About a year ago, we switched to Blueland, and it's been so worth it. We use it all, the hand soaps, the cleaners, the dishwashing tablets. It's one of those swaps that's actually stuck because it's so easy, and their holiday hand soap kit is one of my favorites. You get 10 scent tablets, which is pretty much a year's supply of soap. The bottles are reusable. The packaging is all compostable, including these little packets right here. And the scents are so clean and fresh. You just fill it, drop in a tablet, and it's ready in minutes. There's no shaking it up, no mess, no plastic bottles piling up under your sink. And you guys know with 5 kids, the dishwasher runs nonstop around here. These tablets are one of those things that you don't really think about after you try them that first time. You're kind of hooked. They're 100% plastic free, they're septic safe, and they power right through that baked on mac and cheese with no pre-rinse and no soaking. Let me show y'all how easy this is. Everything's made with certified clean ingredients. There's no parabens, no ammonia, no chlorine bleach, just stuff that's safe and still gets the house spotless. And I like knowing that I'm not adding more microplastics back into my home while trying to clean it. If you've been thinking about a few simple swaps that you can make around the house, I cannot recommend Blueland enough. And if you'll click my link down below, use my QR code, you get 15% off of your first kit. So anyways, on the bottom side, I will just cut a flat, typically, to stand it up, and that's will be what I go with to slice them. But also, I was thinking for Thanksgiving, it might be cool to do some quarters or halves. It kind of leaves a little bit of a longer carrot shape, and it's a little bit meatier carrot to do it this way. This is almost like a longer version of the chips, and these turn out great. But I'm going to try this in quarters today and just see what we get, because I think that could actually really make a nice, this one will be 8 because it's fat. The main thing is you want them to be similarly sized, so make sure when you're cutting them that you're getting similar sizes of carrots. So for the really skinny ones, I'll probably just third them, and then for these really fat ones, they'll definitely get quartered. And it's a lot faster to do it this way. Cutting them into slices like this takes a long time. If I've got the time for the presentation and I'm making them for a date night for Whitney, this is what we're going with all the way. If I'm making them for Thanksgiving to serve quick, this is what we're going with. So let's peel up a few of these first, now that I've showed you a few of that. I have noticed I'm a little bit distracted because I've got the kids here. Whitney is getting her car serviced, and I am over here. I figured, why not cook? It seemed like a great idea because I'm cooking anyways, so why not film it? And this is a great side to film, so doing a little bit of double duty, and it might have been a little more distracting than I bargained for when I first thought of it in my head. The main thing is you want these to be pretty equally sized, or else you'll have either some carrots get mushy and overdone, or some carrots get underdone and be hard and crunchy. So the thickness is the main thing, making sure you get the thicknesses similar. And these are going to just be simply amazing. I love the way they taste. But typically, I will make about a pound of carrots, unless I'm making for a whole lot of people, and it's easy to just size up to whatever size you've got if you're using the recipe. But anyways, this is fast, it's easy. I can go through, I can do a pound of carrots in almost no time, just quartering them up or thirding them. Like so, this one got a little bit thin. I kind of cut off to one side of it, so I will just cut it on this side. Basically, we'll cut this into the fifths by cutting it there and there. And a fatter carrot, I got 3 out of 1/2 of it, and the other half is a little thinner. Now what I've done is I set my stone cutting board, and these are all from Scotsman on Instagram. They're probably linked on my Instagram if you go over there and look. But I set my stone cutting board on one side, and I have my large cutting block over here, which lets me peel on this side and not get peelings all over my cutting board, and cut on this side. It just makes it a lot easier. You can just set 2 cutting boards side by side if you want, one for peelings, one for cutting. But anyways, going to show you a little closer, and I probably should have done it on the other side. I didn't even think about it for my, this is what happens when I set myself up and I don't have a camera guy. Now you can actually see what I'm doing because I'm going to move over here. So when I take this really big fat one, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut on this side right here, like this. And that keeps that about the same size as the other thinner carrots. Let me peel up a thinner carrot and show you just the average size carrot I was doing. If you look at these thinner carrots, when I cut them in half to quarter them, and if this was much thinner, I would probably just half it only and not even quarter it. But if you look at this, the cross section of how wide that is, that's a lot thinner right there. So what I'll do is I'll kind of use that line to cut this quarter in. Well, as you can see the little line I made, I'll kind of cut it kind of off-centered, and that will give me that line. Let's do that real quick. And I'll quarter that, and then this one is much bigger. So instead of quartering it, I'll rock it. And it's got some flat sides from the peeling, so I'll go to where it naturally lays flat, cut one off, then I'll cut another one off, and sometimes if needed, I'll cut another one off. We can do that here. And then I'll roll that around. This keeps them roughly the same size as these others. They're all roughly the same, you know, keeps them all roughly the same. This one comes out of the thing. We'll pull another one out here. Here we go. So I'll just pull another one out here, and they're all roughly the same size, but I got more pieces out of it, and they're more evenly that way than if I just cut that in the middle and had a huge chunk versus having, you know, the more evenly sized 5 pieces instead of a quarter, or 6 pieces instead of a quarter. And all these are the smaller ones. It makes it pretty easy. Now this recipe is going to be in a 2-pound version probably. Typically your carrots come in either 1 pound, 2 pound, or 5 pound bags. I like using the 2 pound because it's big enough for the family, but you can either half it for a 1 pound bag or double it, triple it, whatever you need for however many pounds you're cooking. I doubt, other than Christmas and Thanksgiving, most families are going to need to do 5 pounds of carrots. My family growing up didn't eat carrots, so I don't know that we would have even used one. See, I honestly shouldn't have cut that one in half. It makes it too skinny. I'm just going to use this one just as a half. It's about the same size. If I grab one of these, it's about the same size as one of these anyways. This is a quarter, this is a half, so they're about the same. This one, on the other hand, probably should have done in thirds, cutting one side off center and one side in half, but we'll just leave it like that. Be a little overdone. So we are about 4 pounds of carrots there. I'm going to put the last pound of carrots to the side. And this is why I love using 2 cutting boards, because now that's my trash one. Oh, and there's my cutting one. And now I can just wipe this off and we can get back to work. Okay, so I have roughly 4.5 pounds of carrots here. Now, typically, 2 pounds of carrots is about the size of your average sheet pan. So about half of these go in here. So just to show you an idea of how many carrots 2 pounds are, that's about, when I cut 2 pounds of carrots, that's about what I get right there. And that is plenty enough for our family to eat. If you're doing a big Thanksgiving thing, go ahead and double it up. That'll be great. These can actually be made the night before and covered really well and put in the fridge. You want to let them cool, and so you don't cover them while they're steaming. And then reheated the next day, re-crisped in the oven for a wonderful side that way. But regardless, this is something that you're going to want to make over and over again. Now, I look for sides that are beautifully simple, because the simpler they are, the easier it is to focus on my main dish, and I don't have a lot of attention to divide between things. So 1/2 cup of olive oil, and I do the olive oil first because it will help the second almost 1/2 cup. This is going to be a little bit short. It's basically tablespoons because I've multiplied my 1 pound recipe to 4 pounds. And so it's 8 tablespoons of olive oil and 6 tablespoons of honey. But it's easier just to do this way and do a little bit shy of 1/2 cup with the honey. But if I put the olive oil in first, it makes the honey pour out pretty easily, because if not, you have a super sticky thing full of honey. And look at that, all but one little bit poured out. See that? That's just beautiful. That's why I do things in order. I didn't used to do that, but I've learned. And now the most important part is the thyme. So you can absolutely use dried thyme. It's probably easier. And it is, just remember that it is more concentrated, so you will only use half of whatever you would use in fresh. The measurement is in fresh thyme, just use half. I just love the smell of plucking thyme. It makes such a wonderful smell in the house. It's perfect for, because I'm making this at the holidays, it's perfect for the holidays. But if I was making this in the spring, I'd say it's perfect for spring, because this is truly a timeless year-round seasoning. It always smells so good. I don't know how it can smell like Easter and Christmas at the same time, but it does. And I'm just going to pluck off about 4 tablespoons. I forgot, I'm doubling it again. About 4 tablespoons of these thyme leaves. You know, I probably should have cooked this episode with kids, because this is a great job for kids, picking the thyme apart. Don't know why I picked to do this one by myself. Kind of the easiest way for me to do thyme is start at the top and get those tender shoots off, those leaves off the tender part of the top. Once you come down to where it quits feeling like it's going to break, just grab it and come down the rest of the way this way. So there's a tablespoon and about a tablespoon of the fresh, and I'll be honest, I'm tired of picking fresh thyme, so I'm going to go in with the other tablespoon of dried thyme. Remember, this stuff is a little stronger, so you'll use half as much as you would use if you were using fresh. And then let's zest a lemon, add some salt and some pepper. So just in the spirit of full disclosure, I totally messed up and misread my own recipe. And it is only supposed to be 4 teaspoons of fresh thyme, not 4 tablespoons. I thought, man, I'm pulling thyme forever. So I went back and looked at my 1 pound version of my recipe, and I'm like, that's what I've done wrong. It's supposed to be teaspoons, not tablespoons. And I have a lot of thyme in here. So I tried to fish out as much of the thyme as I could without getting all my honey and olive oil, how much of the dried thyme, and just leave the fresh. So that's where we're at. It's going to be a little bit timey, but we've got this. Now, a little bit of lemon zest. Lemon just adds a little brightness to dishes, especially paired with thyme. And I love this. It started as a spring dish when I first cooked it. So, of course, the lemon was essential. And then I'm like, you know what? I actually like that a lot. So I've kept it, and I think it adds a lot no matter what time of year you're in. So add some lemon juice to that. Perfect timing, my oven is preheated. Let's whisk this up really good. And I may need to add just a little olive oil and honey because of the amount of thyme I have in here. Now this is one of those things that you can truly just smell. When it starts coming together, you know you've kind of got the right blend, and you know that it's going to taste amazing. Carrots are already sweet, especially when they're roasted. So this honey sweetened, and you can absolutely also add in some maple syrup to this as well if you wanted. Let's just pour this over our carrots. I should probably get a separate bowl. There is no way for me to toss 4 pounds of carrots in that little bowl, so still, I'm gonna do 2 at a time, half and half. It's easier to just toss a smaller amount, and one thing that will help, because this is a stickier dish, let's throw down a little parchment paper on our tray here. Hurt a little thing, and then let's pour over about half of our mixture. it about half. Well, squirt of honey to it since the honey sticks to the bottom more. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pour in the whole mixture. I'm just gonna add more carrots to it. That's what I'm gonna do. Because it's kind of separating and the salt is on the bottom and this mixture wasn't salty. So here's what we'll do. Toss this around a little bit. Stick these together a little bit and let's see how this works. Wow, these bowls fit perfectly. Look at that. Beautifully coated. Those truly look beautiful. Now let's just spread them out on a sheet here. About half of them on this baking sheet. There we go. Into the oven. This is the part of the episode that I look so much forward to. Look at this. The glazing down the back of that. I know what these taste like, so my mouth is watering. After you taste these, your mouth will water every time you see them too. The natural sweetness of the carrot, kind of those earthy notes, the sweetness of the honey, the savory notes of the thyme, a little bit of brightness from the lemon. This is something that will elevate any dish you put it with. This takes your regular chicken breast to date night chicken breast. When you line this up on the plate with your broccolini, some mashed potatoes, I mean, you're gonna go a long ways. And I promise you, you serve this one for Thanksgiving, your guest's gonna ask you where you got the recipe and you're gonna thank me later because this is truly that good. Can't wait for you to try it.